Hello guys, I'm Kevin. So I grew up in the image of my parents. My parents were very antisocial, and as a result, I lacked a lot of social skills and never had many friends or relationships as a child. For the most part, my parents were not available emotionally to meet my needs as a child. They didn't hold the same values that most families hold. We never ate around the dinner table as a family. My sister and I would eat together in the kitchen. My dad would be watching TV. And my mom would eat after everyone else was done. As a kid, I was taught that grades and success in school is all that matters because as an adult, to be successful, you have to make more money than everyone else. I was taught to look down on people who worked trade jobs or who never went to college. In order to feel valued by my parents, I had to be the best. I had to get straight A's for their approval. But no matter what, I was never quite good enough for them. And every time I fell short, I learned to blame myself. As I grew, I began to find my identity in the things I was good at. I wanted to stand out. I was smart academically and a talented athlete. And as I got into my teenage years, that is where I found my identity. What I really craved was value and self-worth, and I sought it from others. In high school and as an adult, the most important things in my life was being the best at everything I could be. I had to be the smartest and the best athlete so that others would appreciate me. But I was still never good enough. Originally, I sought salvation in the form of being good enough for my parents. When that didn't work, I sought it in being good enough for others. And when that failed, I turned to a new gospel. As a 19-year-old, I was in college studying engineering, and I hated it. I had no hope for the future until a Marine recruiter cold called me. He promised me everything I wanted: action, adventure, excitement. I'd be a hero, everyone would love me, and women would be all over me. Next thing I know, I'm in boot camp. Originally, it went well. I was still the best at everything, all through my training. But I ran into the same problem that I faced so many times before. I burnt myself out trying to be the best, but it never got me anywhere. I was just serving a different idol than before. The pride I had in being the best was still never enough to fill that void inside me. As a Marine still going through the struggles of life, I became more and more miserable. Depression and pain would set in, and I sought whatever I could to fix it. I blamed myself for my misery, and that only made things worse. I tried everything to bring joy to my life, binging on food, alcohol, and even friendships in hopes that other people would fix my life. Hopelessness was the definition of my life, to the point that I wished I didn't have to live any longer. I joined hoping that I would find my worth in the Marines, that people would finally love and appreciate me, but that failed, and I still had years left in my contract. Then, 5 years ago, I went to church for the first time in my life, just to see what it was all about. I chose a small neighborhood church called Generation Church in Oceanside, California. I was very nervous to try it. I walked up to the church, unsure what to expect, and hoping I wasn't underdressed. The first person to greet me there, who I didn't realize was the pastor, wanted to know all about me, and then proceeded to introduce me to practically everyone in the church. Everyone there was super kind and friendly, and genuinely wanted to know me. And following the service, people invited me over for lunch. And to a young single guy, free food is the best. The whole experience was great, and that's what brought me back each week. The community I came to know there showed me who God is through the love that they expressed. What really won me over was that I had nothing to offer, yet they still took me in and invited me into their tables. Their love wasn't based on my performance or anything that I could offer. From there, it didn't take long until I was saved and baptized. Since then, God has always been the solution. He's been the only one who can fix the brokenness. He could force away the fear, pain, guilt, and grief from my life. But more than anything, He's brought me hope. Even in today's struggle, I always have hope. The hard part is that God requires me to give up everything else to follow Him. I can't find my peace in food, alcohol, or even friends. I have to seek God alone. But even on the days I don't measure up, like every day, I have hope. Jesus, to me, is someone who takes me in and loves me, even when I have nothing to offer. I'm far from good enough, but He loves me as if I was perfect. To me, this love is expressed in the end of Psalm 23. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and love and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. In the 5 years since becoming a Christian, I have grown tremendously. My parents taught me that my value comes from what I can offer others, and only to value those who have something to offer me. Jesus has taught me that my value is not in what I can do or what I have to offer, but my worth comes directly from Him. In the same way, He's taught me to value others, not for what they have to offer, but because they too belong to God. He's taught me to find fulfillment in loving and serving others, and that's how I've come to find my ministry in serving children. Since becoming involved in children's ministry at my last church, and now going to school to become an elementary school teacher, I've learned that my greatest joy comes from loving and serving kids, and it's usually through children that I learn more of God's truths. God has totally changed my heart and destroyed the lies that have controlled my life. I am not valuable for any other reason than I belong to God, and He's invited me to His table even though I have nothing to offer.